All right, welcome, Ali. Thank you for wanting to share your experience of working with me through my Betrayal First Aid program. As a brand new program graduate, you have a very fresh outlook on the changes you've been through as a result of our hypnosis and somatic work. But first, in one sentence, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, I'm Allie and I'm a nurse.
Excellent. So my hypnotherapy work is very specific to betrayal. What were things like in this particular area of your life that was impacted by betrayal before we started working together? Could you briefly describe your situation?
Yeah, end of April of this year, I found out my husband was having an affair and blindsided to say the least. 6 years together, but only married a year and a half. And I just had absolutely no idea. Wasn't even on my radar. So um, I immediately felt overwhelmed and anxious and, like, what's my life going to look like now? I have to have all these answers. What does this mean? And then I I have found that if somebody hurts me, I will usually think, what did I do to have them hurt me? So I was like taking all the blame
Hmm.
and for the situation and like chasing after him.
Yeah.
And it was an awful, awful feeling to be in.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. It's very vulnerable of you to share these details, and I appreciate that. So, what specific challenges were you experiencing that motivated you to want to work with me and engage in hypnotherapy?
Yeah. So I took some time off work because I just couldn't focus, feeling very overwhelmed. And like I said, trying to, I was trying to heal myself.
Hmm.
Um, but I found patterns that showed up in this relationship that had showed up in prior relationships, patterns of trauma or being betrayed. And so I started researching it, and I researched that some of these things are like a subconscious.
Hmm.
And as much as my conscious brain was like the facts are a cheater, a liar, I deserve better, all of that, I just couldn't get past what the subconscious was telling me of it's my fault and I need to fix it and all of that. So I was looking into ways of trying to somehow talk to your subconscious and have it learn new things, and it brought me along to hypnosis as being one of the ways to kind of get to that state.
Hmm.
Um, so that's where I
Good.
found you.
Good. And so, how things changed in this area of your life and in this kind of thinking and experiencing that specific situation around betrayal as a result of our work together?
Yeah, I mean, at our initial consult, I couldn't even make it through a sentence without crying. I was just so upset,
Mm.
so distraught. I
Yes,
couldn't
I
work.
remember.
Yeah, I couldn't work. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't see the next step. I was just ruminating all the time, like no progress. So since then, through the weeks, not only, have I learned those tools, the somatic tools to kind of, when I'm having an anxious moment, I have tools to kind of calm myself down. Um, but the hypnosis sessions have also helped get to that part of my subconscious, to heal past traumas as well as this trauma. Um, I step back from the situation so that I can just understand, like, I don't know, I don't feel so wrapped up in it. I feel like I can just set
Hmm.
it aside and I can calm myself down and then deal with what I need to deal with. Um, yeah, it's been super helpful in that regard. Just kind of
Mm.
calming down and being outside the situation. Oh, and another thing is, I was stuffing emotions, just shoving it down because I didn't want
Hmm.
to feel sad. I didn't want to feel angry. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to talk about it. But what this has taught me is actually it's better if you do like don't shove it down. You can sit in that moment for a minute and then use the techniques to kind of help bring yourself back down. It made it so I could breathe. You know,
Yes.
this is a horrible situation, and I could breathe it, but I didn't have to live there forever.
Yes. And a part of the program, as part of the program, you also get the hypnosis recordings. Have they been useful to you at all?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's a huge, huge relief. So I actually listen to them every night. Like, I kind of pick and choose which one I'm going to listen to. I mean, just even the calming part of it to kind of help get into sleep, but then also being re-exposed to what we learned, or what that session was about night after night after night. It's like, I go to bed more peacefully. And then I know that the tools that you've taught me it's just being that much more cemented in the more I listen to it. So those are amazing.
And tell me, was this your first experience of hypnosis?
Yeah. And I had no idea what to expect at all, or, am I going to be asleep the whole time? I don't know,
So how would you describe this experience to somebody who also has never experienced hypnosis and are a little on the fence, or maybe a little anxious about engaging in hypnotherapy?
Yeah. So, I mean, you did a really good job of kind of explaining it, and especially the first couple of sessions of what I could expect and not expect. Like, I was expecting to be lying flat and potentially falling asleep and having you just talk at me. I mean, that's what you see on TV and such. But
yes, exactly.
It's really actually seated, or and feet planted if you can, and then. Like, when you start out just bringing my focus back to my body, my presence, turning my mind off, because I will sit and ruminate. And so that's the first part of it. It just kind of calming and centered, and like just where I'm at right this moment, let go of the outside world, and just kind of get into a relaxed state. And then I feel like I'm in that state, like, right before I fall asleep, where I'm just very calm, very still, and but I'm still kind of aware of what's going on. I feel like there's times where I'm completely listening to what you're saying, and other times where I'm listening, but I wasn't paying attention to what you're saying. And it's like that. There's a fine line right there of, and then before you fall asleep. So
it's almost like a very, very deep meditation, would you say?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Great. So thank you for sharing this. So Allie, as someone who's in my Betrayal First Aid program, you get free access to the weekly betrayal support group on Zoom, with coaching and hypnosis that's connected to overcoming betrayal. What was your experience of the weekly group like?
Yeah, it's actually one of the highlights of the week. So we meet weekly, and we usually learn a tool. And we get another hypnosis session. And but one of the big things for me is it's a small group, but typically the same people for at least several weeks together. So you kind of get to know them a little bit about their story, but I don't even need to know their whole story. It's more of just the community of there are other people out there struggling with betrayal to some degree, how they're dealing with it, how they use your hypnosis. And, we just kind of check in each week. I just don't feel so alone in this betrayal, because I get to see other people walking through it. They get to see me walking through it. And it's just created a sense of community where right now I had felt alone for a while.
Yeah. And feeling alone during the time of betrayal and trying to process it is, I know from my own experience, it wasn't very helpful. So I'm glad you appreciated and enjoyed that community aspect. And so, Allie, a final question for you, and thank you for your time again. There may be someone who's watching this video right now who's right where you were just a couple of months ago, before you started working with me. Someone who's on the fence, thinking about working with me, but feeling hesitant about trying this new thing called hypnosis, and generally unsure about taking the leap. If you were speaking directly to that person, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
Well, first off, I think that our consult was huge in the explanation of what you can do and what, like, setting realistic expectations about what we're learning from you. So I really
Yes.
appreciated that. I didn't have to commit to anything first. We just talked. It's also been so easy to talk with you. Like, if I'm having questions or concerns, you're messaging out to me. I feel more of like a relationship with you as we're walking through this, which helped me feel more calm and at ease in a
Mm-hmm.
moment of where I don't want to trust anybody. So, um, yeah, I just talking to you, and just starting that consult just to see if it's something that their situation that you might be able to help with is the first step. And then, the betrayal weeklies, if you don't want to do your whole full session by yourself, maybe seeing if you can just join one of those to kind of get
Mm-hmm.
little glimpses into it. But if you're in a place where you are struggling with betrayal, like if it is debilitating or been going on for a long period of time and you want to try to get tools to get out of it or help process it, it's really done such an amazing thing in my life, huge impact on my life, from where I was just end of April. I couldn't put sentences together. I couldn't even work
Mm.
to now end of August, where most days I just feel more calm, more peaceful. I have
Yeah,
things that pop up, but life's going to keep happening.
of
Um,
course.
I
Yeah,
have the tools that, you've taught me to kind of, get out of the fight or flight and just, stay
exactly.
calm.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing this. I really appreciate it. And it's been such an enormous pleasure serving you and seeing you progress from where you were, a few months back to where you are now. Um, I appreciate your dedication to your own healing as well, and your willingness to share your experience with people who are watching, who are just in that spot where you were, just 9, 10 weeks ago. I've enjoyed seeing the progression of your healing journey, and I'm excited to see where you go from this. All right. Thank you so much for this time, Ali. Right. Take care.
Awesome. All right. Bye.